For this drill of the month, we're going to put the simulated fire and a dry fire. As always, we want to make sure there is no live ammunition in the room and our handgun is unloaded. For this one, we're not going to need our magazine, so just stick that in a pocket with it pointed in a safe direction, lock that side to the rear, and verify it is unloaded. Although it is, always practice proper muzzle control. Alright, if you have never really gotten well acquainted with your trigger, this is a really good exercise to do so. What you're going to do is get your shooting grip and your stance, close your eyes, index the trigger, and just go through to the pressure wall. Just press right through that slack. That'll let you know where that pressure wall is and how your slack feels. Once you're comfortable with this, go ahead and we're going to go into the pressure wall. So again, with your eyes closed, you're going to just press into the pressure wall just a little bit and back off. Next time, you're going to add a little more pressure and back off. Just a little more pressure and back off until that shot breaks. If you can get about 4 presses, you're really going to feel every hitch and hiccup in your trigger and know where that shot's going to break and identify any over travel that you have once the shot does break. If you're working with a striker fire gun, reset the striker, do it again. Through that pressure, or through the slack, into the pressure wall, a little bit. Back off, a little bit more. Back off, a little bit more. Back off, a little bit more. And it breaks. Quick note, this only works on semi-automatic handguns. Don't do it with a revolver. You can't milk a revolver trigger, nor should you. Okay, once you're comfortable and well acquainted with your trigger, we're going to go to do the wall drill. I think this is the best trigger control exercise that I found. So just find a blank wall, get close enough to it that if you lean forward, you're going to touch it. Okay, what this does is going to cause you to just focus on your trigger and that front sight. There's nothing beyond it to distract you. Okay, just index that trigger, and the goal is to not see any movement in that front sight as you press the trigger. So you just kind of nice smooth roll through the trigger, reset the trigger, good reset, do it again. Nice smooth roll through the trigger. If you think you got it down and you don't see any movement in that front sight, the test. Take an empty case or a dummy round. If you have a flat sight post, stick it up on the sight post. If you don't, just put it back on the slide. But the sight post is a good test. And as you index that trigger, make that shot. If that case stays up there, you had a nice smooth trigger press. Practice this about 3 or 4 minutes a day, no more than that. Once you think that you've got it down in a nice smooth, add a little speed. It's not the rate at which you pull the trigger, it's the smoothness at which you pull the trigger. So, if you think you got it down, put that back up there. This is actually the hardest part of the drill. Faster trigger press. It doesn't matter how fast you pull the trigger, just how smooth. One more time. See, I didn't milk the trigger, I just went through that shot. So practice this and you will be smooth as silk on that trigger. As always, we look forward to seeing you on the range.